Radio Zero.
It's Radio Zero with Rick and Rose. And I'm dancing. I'm delayed. I'm watching myself delayed. What's the point of that?
You can subscribe to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, or go to radiozero.us. We're live streaming on Facebook on the Radio Zero page and Poster Children page, on Twitch at PCJCUSA, and on the Poster Children YouTube channel. And you can patronize us at patreon.com/Radio Zero.
So like on Twitch, do we is it all like, is the background all black and like do we look like we're playing games and stuff? Like do we look like gamers?
It's us. We're in a truck simulator.
Okay.
We have a pretend steering wheel, and then you can see us up in the corner. We've got this pretend steering wheel, and then visually you see us just driving a truck through a mountain pass in Colorado.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you referring to?
Is
it something?
They're
That's
Twitch
what it's
streamers.
Twitch,
They're
yeah.
people who make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Doing that?
Yeah,
We could have done that.
driving a virtual truck,
Oh,
and people give them money.
man, that's awesome. Happy Friday to you, Dan. And like I think Dannon's got like a birthday coming up. I'm like really like I don't even know where it is. You know, like somebody invites you to your birthday and to a birthday party, and it's like it's on North Street, and you're like, what town is that? Like, can I go to that? So we'll look for him to tell us where his birthday is, and then everybody will just go to your birthday. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay. All right. So, and there's another special day coming up, and that's tomorrow, where Thoughts Detecting Machine is playing here in Bloomington, Illinois. Not on North Street, but on East Street. What street is that? Walnut? What street? Do you know what street the night shop is on?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I can
just look it up. Thoughts Detecting Machine.
I can drive you there.
Yeah.
I can
Can
show
you really?
exactly. Yeah, but I can't.
Not tomorrow though.
No, but I can't. I can't remember the street.
Yeah. So we have a special guest in the studio today, and it's Rick from TDM, Thoughts Detecting Machine. So tell us.
It's actually Thoughts Detecting Machines. But that's fine.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like Poster Children. It's not Poster Child. It's Poster Children.
I have a little bit of a cold.
It's like our child is like 2 days ago is like deathly ill. I'm like, oh, it's COVID. It's all over. Like, and he's vaccinated, right? But okay.
But it's
Is it
not.
actual
It's a cold because he went out and hung out with people and caught a cold, and now I have it.
Yeah. Because you sit in the room with him and watch The Price is Right, binge watch Price is Right all night long, every night.
We've been watching Psych.
Oh, and you know what? Like, it's funny. Like, I go in there and I'm like, what is this? I've never heard of it, so it must suck. And it looks like it's from the 90s. And then I sit down and I'm like entranced with it. It's like, oh, it's kind of fun to watch.
And what's astounding
There's more
is
than one woman in it.
you've said that maybe hundreds of times. You've walked into the room.
About Psych?
Yeah. You're like, what is this?
No, I haven't. No, I
Yes.
know it's Psych now. I know it's got that like mild-mannered looking guy. Like what did that guy do after? Oh, it's like Dannon likes Psych also, and his actual birthday is tomorrow, but the party's Sunday, and all of Facebook is invited. So, not expecting. We don't have to come if we're coming from out of state, so that's good. Thank goodness. Because is that cold gonna mess up your show tomorrow? TDM, Rick.
That's the question.
You were like deathly ill. You had COVID the last time you performed, I think. You were
That's
deathly
right.
ill.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
It's
I didn't.
Not the Thoughts Detecting Machines, but that stage production hit the wall. Yeah, that was when the band actually probably had COVID, but nobody thought it was COVID because no one had COVID in February in the United States at the end of February.
You were so, and I was really sick too. We were all horribly sick.
Yeah.
And the month before that, our entire administrative staff had just come back from like a month in China. But we didn't have COVID.
Nope.
So, but you've performed sick before, right?
I have, but it just disappoints me. Like when you tour, that just, there's always, a few days every tour where things are bad.
Until we listened to Mercy Rule, who told us to bring our own, Domestica, who told us to bring our own microphones.
But I feel like even with your own microphones, you're going to get sick. But, and because you're traveling around a lot, and yeah, you just get sick. But you always have another show, whereas nowadays, if I play one show every 2 years and I'm sick, that happened with that Poster Children show in Bloomington, actually, like 3 or 4 years ago.
So this, like, nobody goes out at all. Bag Boy is not Bag Boy anymore, right? We can say that. I don't know if he's announced it, but
Bag Boy
has quit.
Just like no one wants to work anymore.
Yeah. So he's one of those people who doesn't want to work anymore. So he wouldn't be getting, he wouldn't bring anything home, right?
Well, no, yeah, well, he only 2 people in the house are sick so far, and someone was sick earlier, so it's obvious who brought it into the house, but
yeah. But how did he? So he
hung out with friends. He went out
one time.
Yeah.
He hung out with friends, for a couple of hours, and they were outside
hanging out with people.
What was he doing? Like licking them?
Who knows? But
he probably was.
But yeah, it's just what's going to happen nowadays. Now that we're back outside,
people are going to get sick.
Vaccinated from the plague doesn't mean you won't get
the other plague.
You won't get rickets. What's a good plague era disease that's not the plague?
Consumption?
Yeah, you won't get it. Just because you're inoculated from the plague doesn't mean you won't get the consumption.
Okay. So when you were playing Legal High, my favorite song, one of my favorite songs, and I ran downstairs and I danced in front of you, and then you looked really forlorn. And then I was like, then I had to make a choice of whether or not I should stay in there and dance. And you looked so nice with your costume on and stuff. You were having a dress rehearsal, and I was like, this sounds great. It sounds so good. And you were just like, and then I was like, should I leave or should I stay? And then I just decided to leave because the song had started and you weren't singing. You looked really upset. How upset are you at me right now?
I'm not upset. I just was not happy.
Well, if it's a dress rehearsal, people might be dancing in front of you. You have to look at them.
Oh, it's just I'm not. So typically when I get sick, it affects my voice, and I have a little bit of a sore throat, but my voice seems pretty much the same, but I'm less coherent, and that's a problem because a lot of this performance involves juggling and remembering to hit a button at the right time.
Well,
and
yeah.
So if I'm fuzzy, things go wrong.
So should I be like a bouncer and make sure nobody dances in front of you?
No,
like,
that's
I'm
not
sorry,
the problem.
You're going to confuse
The problem
him.
is not people. Well, I'll be behind TV monitors, so it's not a problem. No, it's more whether or not my brain will be functioning at the low level. I just talked about this on another podcast. It's like when you perform or speak in front of people, you lose about half of your intelligence and your abilities. So that's always part of it. You can be completely rehearsed, but your brain is not going to be as sharp.
Have you
when you're performing?
Have you noticed? Maybe you noticed this already. But a couple of years ago, I noticed that because I'm always worried I don't know enough about the music industry in order to teach music industry, and then at some point I realized, oh my God, I know so much more than these guys that they don't even know what a rider is and stuff.
Yeah.
I know so much more, and even if I don't know an answer to something, I kind of know what the answer is probably going to be like, So I can talk. Have you noticed that? Man, we're so much smarter than kids.
I wouldn't say
we're
it's
fuzzier too, but
smarter. Just having experience. But then there's
experience.
But there's things have changed too.
Yeah. All right. So what song are you looking forward to playing tomorrow? Besides Legal High, which is my favorite song.
I'm not.
All the
they're
songs
they're like my children.
Huh?
my songs.
So which one
Has
is your
anyone
favorite?
ever said that? I think that's something I invented. My songs are like my children. I don't have a
Where do you
favorite.
derive the inspiration from your songs, Rick?
I watched the Rick Rubin talking to Paul
there you go.
McCartney
Yeah. Tell us about that.
documentary.
I'm sure everybody in the entire world is interested in that besides me. So why don't you talk about it?
There's nothing to talk about. It's
Oh,
you
come
know,
on.
It's like a greatest hits album. It's like every story he's ever told.
Well, but bounced off Rick Rubin, right?
Yeah, who didn't even know that Ringo quit. And that's why Paul McCartney plays drums on back in the USSR, because he pissed off Ringo so much that Ringo left the band for a week.
How
But
did he come
Rick
back?
Rubin he just came back. They did. I think Paul McCartney apologized to him or wrote him a nice letter or talked to him, and then they had a nice, beautiful, welcoming back party at Abbey Road and had flowers and everything for him.
Were they hippies already? Like when they first started out, they were like more like what were they?
They were
Tell me about the Beatles, Rick.
They were pill poppers.
Really? When
Yeah,
they started out? What year did they start? 1964 or something like that? What year? 1958.
Again, you know, I don't want to go. You could, there's a 3-hour documentary that you can
Fuck
watch.
if I'm going to watch anything about the Beatles because I hate them.
I mean, you could say they started in the 1950s, but yeah. So that's the thing is, you know, talking about like how they cranked. This is the problem I have is, you know, like, oh, they cranked out 2 albums a year and 4 singles or whatever their schedule was, but they were also hopped up on goofballs the whole time. They were totally amped up on amphetamines, and then they started smoking pot.
So it's like kind of like the
Which
Husker
would have
Du
been
thing, right?
64. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's like, yeah, it's like, holy cow, how did Husker Du do Zen Arcade and New Day Rising, you know, in the same year and everything like that? How did they record New Day or Zen Arcade in 80 hours? And it's like they were hopped up on goofballs, you know? And so, and same thing with Bob Dylan, right? So Bob Dylan, you know, all these speed freaks and you know, it's like, yeah, I just heard an interview with someone who's, you know, thinking of, or yeah, it was like, God, they just cranked out so much music, but you realize these people are all, you know, high. They were on pills, amphetamines, until, you know, they started smoking pot, and then they started doing acid, and then they started doing heroin, and so you can things slow down and
Did the
change.
Beatles do heroin?
John Lennon did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, John Lennon and Yoko Ono were junkies.
Oh, okay.
That's like why, yeah. I mean, you can. I don't know if they were they clean. I don't know if they were clean by the time Let It Be. I don't have my timeline quite right. I don't think they were clean yet.
Who started it?
Who started
Who
what?
started doing heroin first? Was it Yoko Ono or John Lennon? I want to know.
I don't know.
That's what I want to know. I actually like Yoko Ono a lot. I like her artwork.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have nothing against her.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to compare yourself, you know.
Well, there was something that you. Well, yeah, it's hard to compare. It's hard to compare us because we don't pop pills
Yeah, there's only so
or
much.
smoke pot.
You know, like
We have
coffee and
coffee.
cigarettes is only going to get you so far, right?
You-
so they're
You don't.
so
and
that's
you
like
don't
Frank
even have-
Sinatra.
Yeah. Okay, so we got like Larry is telling. Oh, would they ever make it without drugs? April is asking.
I don't know. And I just looked up this book again. There was a book, this German author wrote this book. What is it called? It's basically about Germany on amphetamines, you know, in the 1930s, you know, kind of tying in just how crazy and amped up everybody in that country was on amphetamines then. And you realize, you know, is that so currently in our culture we have a lot of opiates, but we also have a lot of stimulants, you know, that people are taking too, and you start wondering. And I'm not talking about abuse. I'm just talking about in general, right? As self medication or just to help, you know, for medication. And it's like is like fascism or you know, is it kind of tied to? Is that just like amphetamine brain? But the Beatles weren't fascists, but they spent a lot of time in Germany.
They kind of looked like fascists a little bit, like they had
No,
the
not at
short
all.
hair. Well,
Yeah,
maybe,
no.
yeah. Oh, short
The
hair.
short-
When they had short hair, it was really long for that
That's
time. I
right.
remember. Sarah Garibaldi says maybe we should try the Goofballs, and she'd
Yeah.
listen to that music. So you were like maybe this is the trip you become a drinker. You're like trying to get me hooked on something, Sarah. Larry Pais says, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your guys' last names wrong. David Bowie didn't even recall recording Diamond Dogs because he was high on cocaine. So the story goes.
He doesn't remember 1975 apparently.
So okay, so let me ask you this:
He was surviving on cocaine, milk, and one other thing, right? It was like cocaine and milk. He's super skinny. Like he looks like death. It's amazing.
Okay, and speaking of super skinny looking like death, did you see who's going to be playing in St. Louis? Like who's starting their tour in St. Louis?
Guns N' Roses.
No, better.
Who's better than Guns N' Roses?
Oh God, I just got shocked again. Who is it? I forgot their name now. Oh, the
It's
Rolling
like-
Stones.
Oh, okay. It's like 100% humidity, and you got a shock.
Yes. If
That's
I touch
weird.
my computer
Oh,
and
okay.
my lips
It's
to
a
this
grounding thing
Yeah.
because the
So-
Macs don't have.
Are you going to go see the Rolling Stones? Man, do they look really old. Like
They are really old.
really, really old.
They are
But they're
old.
not even trying to not look old. One of them looked too old.
The drummer.
Probably, yeah. What is he, like 85
He
or
doesn't
something?
dye his hair.
Yeah.
He is older.
They looked really, really old.
Bill Wyman's even older though.
Rock and or roll. Roll over in your grave. And then, okay. So, all right. So that was one thing. And then we have to talk about Eric Clapton because I can't remember. He said something stupid.
Eric
And
Clapton, honestly, Eric Clapton has said stupid stuff over and over again. Like if you people,
What was he? What band was he in
he
again?
talked
The
about-
Wings. What band is he in? Eric Clapton.
he was in Cream.
Oh yeah.
He was
Who
in-
cares about that band?
Well, I think people think of Eric Clapton more as a solo artist, or
Okay.
Derek and the Dominoes, I guess. Which is
Did he
but
have curly hair, Eric Clapton?
He did have a white afro in the
No.
'60s.
Okay, and was it your roommate who liked him in college? I can't remember anything now.
But I mean, almost everyone liked Eric Clapton.
Okay. Cream, yeah, Tim Bowers. Thanks. Blind Faith.
That's like yeah.
$400 tickets are probably the cheapest seats for the Rolling Stones. They're going to die soon, so it's worth $400.
Yeah,
I
I've
would
never
almost.
never seen the Rolling Stones live. I don't think I have. Of course, I said I never saw. What band did I say I never saw live? And I did. I was like, oh yeah, I wish I had seen David Bowie live. And I was like, oh, I did see David Bowie.
Oh, did you?
Yes,
Wow.
I did.
What?
But
Wow.
I didn't remember.
Okay. Carlin Reed has sent Discogs Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton. I see.
So
what
he said some kind of crazy National Front stuff. He said, send these people back home like in the 70s, and it was like, oh, I'm drinking, I'm on cocaine, it's just all
It's
that kind
drugs.
of excuse. But he's not a well formed human being.
But
you know.
he's like really good at creating riffs on the guitar or something. What, I don't know. Like, does he play intricate songs?
I guess he's a good guitar player. Sure.
Okay.
He played on that Beatles song.
What was the most P Kids had for tickets as the headliner? Yeah, that's a good question.
What
Tim.
does that mean? Like how many people? Or how much
no,
money?
I think he means how much money did our tickets cost?
Well, there was that one show where we charged $500, but there was only one person.
You're lying.
No. Yeah, boy, I don't know. The show tomorrow's pricey. It's like $15, something like that. The thing is like, I've been playing shows.
I've been playing shows since you
Well,
kids were 10.
I've played $5 shows in the
I played 5.
recent past, and that's how much a show cost 30 years ago. So it is strange, but yeah, no, these $400 or $500. I mean, it's not. It's the same. I'm gonna sound like Martin Scorsese, but it's like you're going to an amusement park ride, right? It's not a movie. It's not a rock show. You're going to some kind of weird experiential thing
Well,
that you
it's
pay lots of money for.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of goofballs, right?
It's
All
like
right.
some people go to Mexico and they go to this resort and they get food delivered to them, and then some people go to Mexico and nearly die, right? And are try to hike their way through it or something like that, right? It's two different types of experiences, and so there's
Sarah,
music, rock and roll
Yeah.
experience in a small club, and then there's
my mom went to
Stadium.
see Il Divo on a boat.
yeah.
Then you could be jogging later on. It's like the Love Boat. You could be jogging and like run into them. My dad was jogging with one of them, with one of the Il Divos. Sarah-
Like
Yeah,
treadmilling.
yeah. No. He was jogging around
Oh.
the boat.
Oh, around the boat. I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sarah is saying, "Wait, I missed the beginning. Are you playing shows? Not that you know of." Sarah, not that you guys know of. But Rick is playing a show. Rick is playing a show tomorrow.
That's right.
That may be what you missed.
So when you're listening to this on Monday, that would have been 2 days ago.
Rick is playing a show on Saturday, July something.
Yes.
I'm very excited
In the
about
past, for all you listening in the past, in the future.
2021.
What else? I went to the doctor. Nothing.
Oh yeah, did he put his thumb
No,
in your tussie?
Didn't
No.
touch me. Doctor did not touch me. The
I don't like that kind
nurse,
of guy. Should have touched you.
nurse put a blood pressure cuff on me.
Yeah.
That's the doctor
Yeah,
and
that's
then I
different.
got blood taken out of me a day or two ago, and they ran the test and everything's pretty okay. Nothing.
But you're scheduled. You're in the pipeline for a colonoscopy.
Yeah,
Hey-o, which is
not
the
yet.
name of
I
my
haven't
next
gotten-
record.
Yeah, pipeline.
No, in the pipeline for a colonoscopy.
Yeah. The doctor, I can't remember what the doctor said. He didn't seem upset that I was a vegetarian, so that was good. That's always my worry. But he didn't have any test results. I talked to the doctor before he saw my test results, but I got a little online feedback about my test results. And
Oh, how are they?
they're fine. I should exercise a little bit more for my whatever things are a little low or high. It's not something that I need medication for. It's like more exercise. So
What are you going to do?
I'll ride my bike
Ride
to
your
work
bike? Oh, yeah.
until everything shuts down again.
Larry says he paid $48 for lawn seats for the Rolling Stones in '89.
Oh, I think that might have been the show my mom went to,
Yeah.
or a tour that my mom went to.
And then Caleb says, excuse
Oh,
me,
there you go.
Caleb says that Austin venues are finally moving to $10 for local band shows. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like whether or
interesting.
not people will pay musicians a pittance for a live performance. I was going to say a living wage, but it's not a living wage,
Yeah.
right?
So you went to the doctor. You're gonna exercise more, but only when you ride your bike to work.
Yeah. I don't like artificial movement without a goal other
Okay.
than living forever.
Okay.
So when we first moved here, I rode my bike one summer every day, and I rode all the trails in the area and everything like that. But then once I did that, I kind of got bored. It's not like I wanted to do the same thing again for the rest of my life. And so I just I like the idea of being a bicycle commuter, not
You could
a
do
person
Zumba.
riding their bicycle to nowhere
You could do Zumba.
or in a circle.
Like you could go to the local health club and do one
Yeah.
of those things. There's just always like a man in the Zumba class, and he's
Yeah.
everybody
And
always
I don't think I'm that guy. I
pays a
don't think
lot of
I'm the-
attention to him, and he's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I don't think I'm the one man in the Zumba class.
Well, you could be the second man.
That's
Okay.
worse.
All right, so
Then you get compared to the really healthy guy.
s-
It's like, oh yeah, there's
no,
the really
there's
the
no
guy.
comparison.
Yeah, there's
there.
the guy in the Zumba class. Oh, and then there's that other fat guy.
Oh my God. Okay. April Smith says, "See, this is what scares me. I've got a list of things now to talk about." April Smith says, "When I had my colonoscopy, the sedation was the best. My girlfriend said I was flirting with the tech and ordering orange juice for everyone." See, that's the
Yeah.
sedation thing scares me. And then I wanted to ask you if you thought that Taika Waititi, what's his name? Taika Waititi. Do you think that he does cocaine?
Boy, I don't know. I'd have to examine his
Over.
Yeah, a little more carefully.
So Jojo Rabbit, and then like fucking what's it called? Thor Ragnarok, right?
I don't feel like there's a lot. I mean, Thor Ragnarok to me is a Ken Russell movie, or it's under the influence of Ken Russell, and same with Black Panther. I think, and it's really exciting to me. I think it's people using kind of a lot of the visual palette and sort of tricks, or not tricks, but yeah, little things that Ken Russell used to always do in his movies. I definitely feel like that's exciting. That's the only thing that excites me about those superhero movies. It's like, oh, apparently now Ken Russell is going to be part of the visual language of superhero movies.
Can you can you elaborate on the Ken Russell?
Like Lair of the White Worm or Altered States.
Yeah.
So like back projection, like he would do kind of like early green screen stuff. So all the kind of dreamlike, sort of hallucinogenic type things.
That happens in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok.
You got to admit that's a great movie.
What I really like about Thor Ragnarok is it looks like it's been influenced by Ken Russell.
It really does. And I didn't remember you to be a Ken Russell fan at all.
I don't know if I'm a Ken Russell fan.
You'd be like Lair of the White Worm.
It's not
trippy for me. You weren't into that sort of thing.
I mean, I watched it more than once. I mean, his movies are never all there. I don't feel like, I feel like it's amazing. It's again, he's a filmmaker where it's amazing that he made money, or he was able to get people to pay money to him for him to make movies. So large amounts of money. So Lair of the White Worm was when he was already not, much smaller scale stuff, but it was still had elements of his earlier films.
Now, I'm going to have to look this up. Larry is saying Suicide Squad 2 coming next week. Now, did Taika Waititi do that? Because I'll shit my pants if he did that.
He did not.
I think so. I really think I like Jojo Rabbit, but it might just be because my mom refused to watch it, and we had an argument about it.
Yeah.
Like how that happens. Like there's so much that goes into whether or not something's, you love a record, or you love a certain band, or you love a movie or something like that. It's like, oh well, that was when this happened, and I had a life-changing event, and that's why I love. But I'm sure that didn't happen with Poster Children and anybody, right? But okay, so Dan liked Lair of the White Worm.
Yeah.
And then okay, so now this is the next.
You loved what was that movie with the 3 or 4 segments? The one that Ken Russell did,
Star
where the
Wars.
woman she has is it a car accident, and then there's glass
Aria?
everywhere. Yeah.
I don't like that.
It turns
I
into
hated
this
that.
weird. Oh, I thought you liked that.
No,
the big sparkly kind of costume.
I did
because it was like a metaphor for or like a dreamlike.
Yeah.
I need to watch that again.
Aria. Ken Russell did. Was that the car accident one was the one? Yeah, I guess I liked it, but it scares me.
Yeah. But it was visually arresting.
It was visually arresting. They're like placing jewels on a woman's body with tweezers. I seem to remember.
Oh, gotta watch that again.
Placing
don't talk about it anymore. I just need to watch it.
And then it turns out that was like that. Yeah, that's her dream.
Oh, you don't know until.
Yeah, you don't know till the end.
See, I ruined it.
Sorry. There's other
spoiler.
stuff too. Like I don't want to watch that, and it's not appropriate for the 12-year-old or 11-year-old, however old he is, because there's a suicide in it. Speaking of suicides,
jeez, I don't remember any of that.
2 lovers go into a bathtub, and it looks very romantic.
Well, he didn't direct every segment.
I know, it doesn't matter. It's like real intense.
Yeah, boy, I don't remember the other segments. Who directed those? you don't remember. And Altered States is great. I can't
don't
remember
like
if I
that
read
either.
a book about it
Scares
or
the crap out of
yeah.
me.
Oh no, that scares me. The preview of Altered States scared me when I was a kid. Just the
Yeah.
preview they showed on TV, but the fact that it was written by Patty Chayefsky, who did Network, and so there's a great, I don't know if it's an oral history or something I read a long time ago, but it was because Patty Chayefsky is one of the few writers in Hollywood who had power, like in the process of filmmaking. Like typically with a writer, they get, like, who got banned from the set? Every writer gets banned from the set at some point. The director doesn't allow them there anymore because they don't want the writer to have any say in what, they want to be able to change it. But Patty Chayefsky was always pretty proactive, and the battles between Ken Russell and Patty Chayefsky on Altered States were apparently very intense, but it wound up being a really great movie because it's like this weird Frankenstein combination of the two of them. Two crazy geniuses,
Hopefully that's what my book will end up turning out like after you and I finish with you fixing it. So Joe Chrisman, I think it's Tim Bowers on hold here who wants you to talk about your bike, but that's going to take an hour. So just hold on. It may not, because Joe Chrisman says he just saw the new Dune trailer. I noticed there was a new Dune trailer. Taika Waititi is acting in Suicide Squad. Then I'm going to watch it. Is he Hitler in it?
And actually, what's his name from like Doctor Who? But he was in Lair of the White Worm,
Tom
right?
Baker?
No, in Lair of the White Worm. The guy, he was also in
The
Local
guy who
Hero.
plays.
The Scottish guy. He's the
I
young
love that
Scottish
guy.
guy in Local Hero and
Lair
Lair
that
of the
guy.
White Worm. But now he's the old guy who played Doctor Who. He's in Suicide Squad, right?
Oh, wow. Wow, interesting. Okay, all right. So Joe Christmas just saw the new Dune trailer. Does he have to read the book? He's seriously late to the
No.
party. You're not late to the party yet because it hasn't come out yet. Peter Capaldi.
Joe, do yourself
just
a
hold
favor.
on, hold
Peter
on.
Capaldi,
And
yes, thank you.
I assume one of you have read it. That's right, Joe. One of us has read it. Guess which one of us has read it? We won't wait. Go ahead, Rick. Say your. Go ahead.
I don't think I
shit
made
on
it.
my parade.
I made it past the third page of that book. I was just like,
You know
I'm
why?
not gonna
Because there are
read this.
women in that book.
Yeah,
he
that
just
was the
didn't want to
problem.
read it. There was like a woman. There were two women in the book and one boy.
I was able to read Catch-22, which is notorious for.
Are
for
there
being,
women in there?
No, there aren't. Not a lot.
See.
Being difficult to get through the first part, which I don't remember, but yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
I read
just,
it,
It
and
was just like, I don't want to read this.
okay. Okay.
So yeah, Joe, just read the first few pages and then
So
realize,
Joe, I read it and it changed my life. I think it changed my life. I think it made me. I was for a long time. I thought Star Wars, and I know Star Wars did, and me and Sarah Garibaldi are Star Wars sisters, but I think Dune, and also I'll bet Sarah hasn't finished Dune yet. She needs to read it. I don't know if she's still listening to this or not, but I think it changed my life. I think it made me who I am today. A strong, intelligent woman. I'm sorry. No, I like the political. There's like women in politics in that book, and there's a lot of political undertones. And then there's also like powers, like extra, like extra whatever powers. Like people have mind powers and stuff. And there's like a lot of like intelligence is power sort of stuff in there, which would be why Rick didn't like it. And I think I think it's fantastic. But if you're a guy who can't get past the third page like Rick is, then don't read it, I guess. The other thing is that if you read the book and then there's like 4 other books and stuff, there's more than that even now. You can listen to it too. But I read it when I was much younger and I loved it. And then I saw the movie. So if you read the book, you're going to probably hate the movie because there's no way that they can make a movie out of that book because it's like 5,000 pages long. It'd be like making a movie out of Infinite Jest. So so you don't have to. So long story short, you don't have to read the book. You probably shouldn't if you want to like the movie.
Yeah.
You will have been ruined if you read the book and then watch the movie. I promise you, nobody who so after the movie comes out, if you hear anybody say I read the book and I really liked the movie, it's going to be like it's like a low expectations thing, which is what I'm going to have.
There's a great documentary. I can never remember his name right. Jodorowsky's sorry, Dune. It's about the guy who
tried to make it the first
in the
'cause it's
70s.
like
And it's a great documentary going through that whole process and what his vision for the film was, and then it falling apart.
there's no way to make that because it's just one of those things where there's some really nice writing and it makes changes in your brain, and you can't do that on a movie screen.
It's similar to what I was talking about with directors wanting to kill children in movies because Hitchcock said you can't do that successfully. It's like a director. So imagine you're a director riding pretty high, and then the challenge to do what Jodorowsky couldn't do, what Terry Gilliam couldn't do, right? And what David Lynch couldn't do, right? Is very tempting, right? To see if you can pull it off. So it'll be, I'm excited to see the movie.
Now
I think visually,
I'm gonna read it again. Visually, I looked at it and then I listened to it because I didn't, I listened to it while I was knitting or something. The book on Audible, not a sponsor.
And do you think? Now the question is right? It's a Warner Brothers release. Are they going to actually back off on their promise to do everything streaming this year? Do you think Dune's going to wind up in theaters? Well, Wonder Woman wound up in theaters too. They're just going to do a simultaneous release, so it will be in theaters.
We just went to the theater this week to see. We went out and watched. What did we watch? A Marvel movie.
I didn't go.
Yeah. How come I can't?
Black Widow.
Yeah. The honest trailer is better than the movie, but it was fun to watch.
It seems again like it felt like when I looked at the preview, it looked like a Bechdel test movie.
Like
right?
a passing the Bechdel test movie?
Where it was we're going to pass the Bechdel test.
It's on the to-do list.
Did a woman direct it, at least?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, they had the girls were talking to each other and they were like razzing each other and calling each other posers and stuff. So that would be a passing of the Bechdel test. I think we need to augment the Bechdel test if that's all it requires to pass
it.
it.
I think that
Will
was
Sting
the whole point.
Will Sting be in the new Dune movie?
That's a deal breaker for me. No Sting, no Dune.
It's no Sting, no Dune for me. I don't want to see him in it. Okay, so yeah, you know what? When is that coming out? It's coming out soon, and it's just gonna break my heart, right?
Maybe, but I don't know. I mean, we saw the Blade Runner movie wasn't a complete travesty, was it?
I don't know why. I don't even remember. Like,
right. So
for me, that was
it probably will be very, very. It'll be fine. It probably won't. Do
all
any
I remember from the new
damage.
Dune movie, I think I may have had to pee. It was really long, right? And I had to pee or something. The
Blade
new
Runner movie.
Blade Runner movie. Sorry,
Yeah.
The new Blade Runner movie. I had to pee, and I was.
Well, yeah, there was there was a certain time during the movie where that was there's a certain scene where you can go pee.
Yeah,
during Blade Runner.
And it's the one with Jared Leto, right? Like this that was the other thing is like seeing Jared Leto in there, like just this like naked Jared Leto, right? And I was like, why am I looking at this? Wasn't he? And then it was like just like there was a lot of like, look, we're in this old area and somebody's gonna get killed. And then I started like having this whole like, okay, did I only like Blade Runner because Harrison Ford is hot? Like, is that like, and then like Rutger Hauer is so weird. Like, why did I like this movie? And then it becomes like I like the texture of the movie more than I like the narrative arc. Guess where I'm going with this. I think that I like textures of movies more than I like narrative arcs of movies.
That's wonderful. I mean, that's
so
and
why can't my book be like that?
well, I think you can have both.
Yeah. But okay, all right. Well, yeah, I didn't. But okay. So things that the Dune movie has going for it, and I said this like a couple of months ago, was I like that girl who's going to be playing Chani. I really like her. The girl from the TV show that Grandma always wants us to watch and then backs off because it's too weird.
Yeah.
What's that called? Anthropology? Euphoria. Yeah. I like that girl a lot. And it was visually stunning. I mean, when you read the book, like he does talk a lot about the atmosphere of Arrakis.
Yeah.
And so it's like the director directed that other movie with lots of fog in it too, right? He's like a fog director. Right?
I'm trying to remember who cinematographer was. I mean,
Yeah.
he definitely.
But what was
Oh
the
no, Roger
movie?
Deakins did Blade Runner. I don't think
No,
Roger
no.
Deakins did Dune.
I'm talking about I'm talking
Roger Deakins did the new Blade Runner.
Okay. Dennis Villeneuve
yeah, but-
did Arrival. What was it called? What's the thing with the circle and the aliens
Yeah,
and
Arrival.
the
Yeah,
lots of fog in that movie, like atmosphere.
yeah, The Arrival, right?
Okay. Oh, The Arrival. All right. Enough about all this crap and whether or not so. Yeah, I'm still intrigued with like what drugs. I still want you to make that poster, that infographic of what drugs that different people and different bands do when they make movies and stuff like that. But let's get to your bicycle because your
Everybody wants to know.
your bike tire popped. There was some reason she had to stop reading, but it wasn't because she was bored. Okay. Oh, she's gonna finish the book. Okay, so Tim Bowers wants you to tell about your bike.
Well, yeah. So I've had this bike for 14 years, a Swobo Otis.
Excuse me?
Swobo Otis.
So it's made
It was
by
really
Swobo.
cool in 2007.
Yeah, it was made by Swobo, and it's called the
Actually,
Otis.
what's her name? I can't remember her name. I actually had an email conversation with her once that really pissed me off. We could probably go back through the Radio Zeros and find it. She designed Bianchi bikes for years, and then she got hired by this company. I think it was like a bike clothing company or bike clothing company, and to start making bikes. And so for a while, they were making sort of these really well-designed bikes. But it's been through a lot. This bike, I realized, so that was the thing that I got into a fight with the designer of this bike, where it was like it had a 3-speed internal gear.
Email fight with the designer of the bike?
Yeah, so the 3-speed, it had it was a 3-speed built around this kind of 3-speed internal gear rear wheel SRAM, and mine was starting to get weird and clicky and making these strange noises. And then I wrote to them, the company. I said, "Hey, it's been less than a year, and this is starting to make really weird sounds and everything like that." And she wrote back, "Well, internal gears sound different than derailleurs, the usual derailleur, right? You need to realize that internal gears are different," which is
And you
a
wrote
really
back, "Listen, little lady."
well, no, I didn't think the designer would write back to me. It was very condescending. It was like, "No, okay, I know. That's why I bought the bike. And this is something different." And then a little while later, the whole rear thing blew up. It shattered, and then they had to pay to replace it. So that made me mad. And that was
Can we get that woman on the podcast that you had an argument with? I think that'd be really
It's
cool.
not an argument. It was just more like buying a bike, being very, into the bike, and doing a lot of research on what kind of bike I want and being realistic. So it was like, oh, I live in Central Illinois. I'm going to be riding to work, on this bike.
So
I'm not going to be riding cross country and everything like that. I can get this nice kind of weird mix of commuter bike and, dirt bike. It was just this kind of cool looking, utilitarian bike. It had, their logo was a shopping cart because the bikes were supposed to be like shopping carts, right? They were supposed to be well built and utilitarian, right? And so all that appealed to me, and it was well designed, and obviously it's still I'm riding it 14 years later, but I'm not riding cross country. I'm I use it to go to work, right?
And to get exercise.
And exercise, but yeah, and so and then the replacement 3-speed internal gear blew up at some point, and then I got a 4-speed. The bike shop here in Bloomington, that was like what. Remember, that was when I was riding it around a lot, actually, and it blew up. And they had a 4-speed sitting there, like someone bought it and then didn't use it or something, and so they put that in, and that's worked fine. So now I have a 4-speed bike that I only use 2 gears on, right? That was the thing. It's like once I only ever use 1 or 2, maybe sometimes I use 3 gears on the bike. So it's not like I need a lot of gears in central Illinois. There's like 1 bridge, 2 bridges, right? And then a couple of hills in this town. But yeah, so the thing was the tires on it were these Kenda, what are they called? I can't remember, but they were they're like Kevlar reinforced wire, reinforced tires, the actual tire, so that you're riding in an urban environment, glass, things like that, nails, it's supposed to help with that, but I always had tires or tubes blow out in it, and I changed the tires, I thought, and everything like that. But then just this weekend, we went for a bike ride, and I noticed before we left that the sidewall of the front tire was starting to wear down, and basically the tube kind of did a bubblegum thing. It blew, did a hernia thing. It kind of tiny bit of it bulged out and popped like really high pitched, like super loud, like firecracker through the side wall of the tire. So I couldn't fix it or anything like that. I had to walk home and everything like that. But when I took the tire off, I realized the front tire is still the original tire. And then the tube was that brand of tube. And I've never bought a tube in that brand. So it seemed like the tube and tire in the front of my bike were the same for 14 years. Now, the rear tire I had replaced a couple times, and the tubes I replaced all the time. So that's where all my weight is, right, is on the back. And on the front, it's just these tires were good enough to deal with nails and glass and everything like that, and it never punched through to pop the tube. But the rear tire, because it's heavier, more weight on it, I think, than on the front tire. And I must, obviously not distribute my weight evenly across the bike. And so that's popped and been replaced a bunch of times. So that was the amazing thing. But the other thing was I was looking at a different bike. And so the bike knew. Yeah, the bike knew I was looking elsewhere because this other brand of bike had a week or 2 ago had gotten out of its pandemic backlog, and I actually could have ordered this other bike last week. Now it's back ordered again, but like a lot of bike manufacturers were back ordered. Like it'll take you like a year to get a bicycle now.
So because they're all waiting for the microchips.
No, it was because everybody all of a sudden was like, I'm locked in my house for a year. Oh, I'm going to buy a bike and I'm going to ride it around. And so everybody bought bikes, like tubes, like even finding tubes and tires. I couldn't find a tube. Yeah, the last time a tube went out in last year on my bike, apparently on the rear tire of my bike, I couldn't buy it locally. I couldn't buy it in all the usual places.
It took a long time.
I had to buy it through REI or something.
Yeah.
Like they just happened to have one left or something,
Scares
and I bought
me.
it.
Like, am I like my bike tire has never popped.
Yeah, and your tire and the tube, like, so this is a 26-inch tire, right? Which is it's not weird, but it's not as popular. Like your bike has more popular.
But how come it hasn't broken? Just because I never.
Yeah, you don't ride it or not. Yeah, and that's the thing too. That was a little discouraging. Whereas I felt like I've ridden that bike a lot, but apparently I haven't ridden it that much. If I can have the same tire and tube for 14 years.
Gordon says rim pinch won't stop, or Kevlar won't stop a rim pinch. which is my favorite record. It's my favorite Steak Daddy 6 record. And then people are talking about Sting in metal underwear.
Oh yeah.
So
Crazy.
okay, all right. So what else? What else is going on? What have you been watching?
What else did I watch? I Think You Should Leave. I watched that a couple weeks ago. Binge watched that.
Oh yeah, and then you
Got
had
the
Bag Boy
17,
watching it.
yeah, ex-Bag Boy.
Yeah.
Watched it. It took a lot of work to get him to watch it, but I knew it would be a formative viewing experience for him.
Can you just give me a hint of what it is, since I don't ever watch anything
It's a lot
unless
of
I've already
yelling.
watched it.
It's people who are wrong yelling and sort of digging in and insisting they're correct. I don't think there's any sketch. There is one sketch, the one sketch where the woman just says, "Wine. I love wine." I think you might like that sketch.
I'll have to watch it.
That's pretty. You might find that funny.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of yelling. It's just like people screaming at each other, and it's basically a lot of sketch comedy, but just taken to the extreme. So in the same way, Monty Python kind of was surrealist and kind of, messed with sketch comedy format. This is more. I mean, it's got surrealism in it, but it's just taking every. I would say every premise is a usual sketch comedy premise, but they go off so far afield so quickly that I don't know. I find it very funny, but I could also see how people would absolutely hate it. Just a guy lying on a couch in a meeting, and he's not eating. He's not using his food per diems, so he can save up to buy these special collector shirts.
That's awesome.
And this old man screaming at him, or he's screaming at this old man who's saying he's not eating because he's saving up money to buy these shirts, and just stuff like that, where it's just so silly.
I'll have to try it out. I feel bad that I don't watch any of this.
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's funny. I was talking to my friend Ian Mackay. I had a debrief with him, and he was talking about and now I can't even remember it, 'cause it's so funny that I'm dropping his name, right?
No,
just talking about not
maybe sad.
I was talking about not watching anything. What?
Not wanting, not enjoying any movies, or only wanting to watch movies you've seen already.
No, that's not what I was. Shit, I can't remember.
Not being current with what the cool kids are watching.
No, he's watching lots of Akira Kurosawa movies with his kid, which I probably shouldn't talk about because that's his business. Wow, why did I just think it? Because it had something to do with our conversation. I can't.
Well, we got
remember.
about 7 minutes. You can.
I just got shocked again. That should have helped me, but it didn't. So what else has happened to you this week?
What else has happened to me?
Yeah.
I don't think anything.
Nothing.
Has anything happened?
I went to the cancer center again.
Yeah.
Yeah. To this is a boob update. And it's like I saw the radiologist. So when you get cancer, so this is like I got cancer. I got diagnosed with cancer. It was like November 11th or something, right? That was the day, because that's Graham's birthday, right? So that was the day that I found out I had cancer. So it hasn't been a year yet, and I theoretically don't have it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So going back there, and then like just this was my radiation doctor checkup. She's like checking to make sure that like I don't have radiation poisoning or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So she was, she's looking at all this stuff. She's like, well, does this hurt? Does that hurt? What, is this happening? Is that happening? And like my answers, like I was like, well, this is happening. And then, this part of my body hurts. And then she's like, well, that's not my fault. She's like, that wouldn't be due to the radiation. And I'm like, well, the radiation is doing, is continually still doing this to my boob. So it's my arm, my elbow is overcompensating for my shoulder, which is not working that well because my boob is seizing up because it feels like there's a carpet in it right now. But no, that's got nothing to do with radiation. So it's funny how she's like,
not
like,
my
that's
not my job.
not my fault. It's not my fault. And then, and she asked, it's all numb there where it's, been cut open and stuff. And she said, well, it shouldn't be, that's like the radiation wouldn't make it numb. And then she's like, but you do have a giant incision there and a giant scar. So she said, if it walks like a duck, that's what she said to me.
Huh. Right. Yeah. She's saying it's not
it's
her
not
part
her,
of the
it's
procedure.
not her fault.
Yeah.
It's funny how it's like all compartmentalized.
Specialization.
Mm-hmm. All right, but that was all. I asked the oncologist if I still had cancer, and he didn't answer.
Yeah,
I'm not going to answer.
Yeah, that's not.
I'll
way
just
it
have to
works.
wait. I'll have to find out in next October. Really, that's when the next mammogram is. So stay tuned, you guys. I guess you never really know.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
In the same way that if you hadn't had your mammogram last year and you waited until this year, you wouldn't have known this whole year.
Then I would have really had a reason for my yeah. So it's like I'm thinking about like my sister keeps sending me these TikTok things, and I'm just wondering like would it be beneficial for me to say, hey, what is it, month 7 now? So 8 months ago I was diagnosed with cancer, and now I don't think about it anymore. I still kind of think about it a little bit, but you get that like there's that terrifying like, oh my God, and then you kind of go through like you're like, holy shit, and you kind of go through. It's like a roller coaster.
What does that have to do with TikTok though? That's what I don't understand.
I think they're like they're little yeah, I know it's a tricky question to answer. Nick says they're little bite-sized.
No.
Not TikTok. He's talking about whether or not you still have cancer. But TikTok, like they're it's like little missives that you can release, little bite-sized missives that people can share.
Like about cancer?
Yeah, like okay, so
like
the people
the video equivalent of hang in there with the kitten on it, like those posters, inspirational posters.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Hang in there. What is it? What is the actual?
Yeah, hang in there.
Is it? No, that's not it.
But I mean, it was, I've already talked to people who are newly diagnosed and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. It's cool. I ran into a woman at the sewing store yesterday. I'm like, I'm buying this because I'm done with my cancer. And she's like, I just finished with my cancer in January. And I was like, oh, cool. She's like, who are your doctors? And they're the same doctors because there's only 2 doctors here, and everybody has them and everybody loves them and stuff. They're fantastic doctors. So she's like, oh yeah, it's hang in there, Nick says. Yeah. So I don't know. I have no narrative arc here. So let's move on. I don't have any. I seriously have no ending or I don't have any ending point for this discussion. So, okay.
Well, we got a minute and a half.
So today I woke up and decided. It was yesterday I woke up and I decided to start like all
Have
of
yourself a beer.
things that I wanted to do this summer. I decided it was time to start doing them. Like I usually put everything off. Like, oh, I better enjoy the summer, and I want to fix up the porch, and I want to do this and I want to do that. You haven't been having this problem, but I have been like kind of stagnated and like not getting stuff. This is what I was going to say. Now I remember about the Ian thing. He was talking about some Evans lyrics, right? I already told you this. There's a song that seems to be like about like staring at your computer and like just like staring at your phone or staring at your social network and just just always wanting but never being in the mood or something like that. He's got some good lyrics, and he was relating them to me because I was asking if he was writing stuff. And just we were having a conversation about that, but it reminded me to put down my phone. It reminded me that I'm even at night, I'll sit there. You just see what I do at night. I don't go and watch The Price is Right with you guys like a productive human being. I sit by myself in the other room and I just stare at Pinterest, and Pinterest sucks lately. I mean, it's good for figuring out what to make for dinner tomorrow and stuff like that usually, but other than that, it's just oh, here's something I could make. It's gotten even worse. It's kind of like MTV in the 1990s. It's just gotten worse and worse. So I just keep wanting more ideas, but I don't ever carry them out. So I was thinking, there's a couple of weeks left to do that before school starts. And so then I was like, okay, I better start moving. And then I just started thinking about, I think there's a TED Talk or something. You had even talked about this. Procrastination is just you thinking that you're going to live forever. Right?
It's denial of death.
Denial of death. So or denial that school is going to start again.
But there's also procrastination where you get too much done too early.
Oh,
the opposite.
Can't
there are
imagine.
people who
Is that like the tortoise and the hare?
Yeah, there's a middle ground, right? So you don't want to be the tortoise, you don't want to be the hare. You need a little bit of time to mull things over and stew and think about stuff and come up with better ideas. So there's a middle ground.
Well, things have been building up in my directing the program. I'm not supposed to be working now at all. It's I'm not under contract until August 1st. But people keep sending emails, and it's an email hey, this is due by July 30th. Here's a spreadsheet, and 75% of them are what the fuck is this? Oh my God, who am I going to ask about this? I have no fucking clue how to answer this. 75% of it, 25% is oh, I think I understand what they're asking. But most of it's just so for a couple of weeks, I've been just pinning them to the top and just leaving them there. That's, okay, I'm going to get back to this. But there's been a couple of things that I've missed now already, and I don't even know if there's an email about them. There's just, I've procrastinated on some things, and you don't do that, right? Every
Sure,
time somebody
I procrastinate.
But you snooze something and then put it back, right? Is that what
Yeah.
you do? I don't snooze, I pin it to the top of my, so every time I look at my email, there's more and more,
Yeah.
now the whole top of it's orange. It's
Yeah, that's not good.
yeah, I need to snooze.
Yep.
And then I need to not snooze certain things and just make, and there's a lot of decision making too.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next week we're going to have a guest. So
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about who it is?
We'll
Oh, okay.
talk about it. Save it.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, it'll be great. All right.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Postcrastination.
Danny
Ingram. Gunpowder milkshake. Lots of stuff.